Coming up on the Poke Report, Cowboy football ends its season in disappointment. The U.S. advances to the knockout stage in the World Cup, and Ian Fain spotlights a new sport you could see on college campuses in the near future. Hello everyone, and welcome to the final episode of the Poke Report. I'm Alex Dusky.
And I'm Asa Lucas. We are outside of the historical Boone Pickens Stadium. But later on in the show, we're going to come back here and give out some post-football season awards. Last Saturday, it was a cold and rainy day where the Cowboys faced the West Virginia Mountaineers. Alex Calloway has the game recap.
The Oklahoma State Cowboys will look forward to a week of rest after losing to West Virginia 24-19 this past Saturday to end the regular season. Starting in the second quarter of the game with OSU in the red zone, quarterback Garrett Rangel finds Brendan Presley to tie the game early in the second quarter. The Cowboys would then have to settle for a field goal following a red zone stand by West Virginia as OSU would take the lead into the half 10-7. Moving ahead to the third quarter, where West Virginia running back Jalen Anderson finds a crease and reels off an impressive 54-yard touchdown to put the Mountaineers back on top. Anderson was far from done, however, as later in the quarter, he evades Cowboy tacklers again on his way to score another touchdown to put the Mountaineers up 21-10. The Cowboys' offense would respond as they would put up two scoring drives of their own in the third quarter, highlighted by this Ollie Gordon run to bring the Cowboys within two. The Cowboys would fail on the ensuing two-point conversion attempt as the Mountaineers would enter the fourth quarter with a 21-19 lead. Going to the fourth quarter, Rangel and the Cowboys' offense are driving when the ball is fumbled on the snap and West Virginia recovers. The Mountaineers were able to pad their lead later in the fourth with this field goal to put them up 24-19. After getting the ball back late, OSU would have one final chance with under 2 minutes to go on 4th and 3 in Mountaineer territory. Rangel tries to find the receiver as he takes a hit and the ball sails out of bounds and West Virginia hangs on 24-19. West Virginia coach Neil Brown praises his team on ending the season strong.
Hard, played physical, in about as bad a conditions as you can play in.
Head coach Mike Gundy had this to say regarding his team's performance against West Virginia.
Tough one for us. They made a few more plays than we did, and they called a few more successful plays than we did.
With the loss, the Cowboys finished the 2022 regular season with a record of 7-5 overall and a 4-5 conference record. The Cowboys now await their bowl selection to end the 2022 season. For the Poke Report, I'm Alex Calloway.
Thanks, Alex. The Poke's 7-5 season may be disappointing to some, but we're happy with a winning record regardless. So, Alex, how was the game? You were here. I was up top.
I was there from 8:30 a.m. I went to the walk. I saw all the festivities. Got a front row spot on the 5-yard line, and I was there through it all, singing the alma mater twice because the fans started without the band, and then the band kicked in, and we sang again. And it was tough. I felt like crying. I didn't because I was where they would freeze on my face. But I will say, although there may not have been as much excitement, as many fans as expected, those fans came out and they were loud and they supported the Cowboys to the end.
Well, you're a loyal and true fan, Alex.
Yes, I am.
The Oklahoma State Cowboys suffered their second straight loss against West Virginia to close out the 2022 regular season.
The loss drops the Cowboys to 7-5 on the season and ranked 5th in the Big 12. Quarterback Spencer Sanders was suited up for the game but did not end up playing, and many wonder what his future is with the Cowboys. It is clear when Sanders is healthy, he can be a difference maker for the Cowboy offense.
Sanders has 1 year of eligibility left, and many speculate. Will the quarterback potentially transfer schools? When asked about players' potential futures, Coach Mike Gundy had this to say.
No, I don't have those conversations. Those a little bit different times today. These players have conversations with their family and their representatives, and at some point they'll let us know 2-3 weeks from now probably. But I don't get involved in those conversations.
OSU fans got a glimpse this season of who the future starting quarterback could be with the play of both freshman Garrett Rangel and Gunnar Gundy. Both struggled when thrown into the mix, but did show flashes of potential.
The two freshmen finished the year with similar numbers, as they will likely be competing for the starting job in the 2023 season.
Luckily for these young quarterbacks, they will be surrounded by some returning playmakers to get the ball to.
most notably wide receiver Brennan Presley, who led the team in receiving yards, and freshman running back Ollie Gordon, who was the third leading rusher for the Cowboys.
Moving to the defensive side of the ball, where two key young players will be returning in the defensive end, Colin Oliver, who led the team in sacks, and Kendall Daniels, who will look to take over Jason Taylor II's role at safety. Daniels was second on the team with interceptions behind Taylor with 3.
As the Cowboys' regular season wraps up, they still have a chance to finish the year with 8 wins in a bowl game. The Cowboys are projected to play in the Cheez-It Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, and the Texas Bowl.
On the hardwood, Cowboy basketball extended its winning streak to 3. Mason Orn has a story.
The Cowboys' leading scorer heading into the contest, Avery Anderson, continued his offensive brilliance on his way to 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Anderson, voted to the preseason first-team All-Big 12, knocked down this 3 to get the Cowboys' second half going. Freshman Keon Williams came off the bench and provided the post with a huge boost on Sunday, making hustle plays like this to keep the Cowboys' offense rolling. Williams struggled at the beginning of the season to find his footing on the court, but in his last 2 games, Williams has totaled 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists.
If I would just say first 3, the nerves, it's not high school, it's not AAU, it's Big 12 basketball. So once the nerves came down, I just started playing basketball.
The Cowboys' head coach heaped high praise for the freshman after the game.
Keon Williams was terrific in terms of setting the tone again by losing himself within the game and making an impact without having to necessarily score.
Mike Boynton believes Williams will continue to play a key role as the Cowboys try to make a return to the big dance, and his defense is something Boynton hopes can get him more playing time.
I still would like to have a guy, and I think Keon, to be honest, I think Keon's going to become that for us. I think that's a role that's available still for him. It's one that he's capable of doing. He does have a good body.
The Cowboys will head to Storrs, Connecticut on Thursday to take on the number 8 ranked Yukon Huskies. Boynton will need Anderson and Williams to play at an extremely high level to defeat the Huskies in their home arena. The Huskies will be the most difficult test of the season so far for Oklahoma State, having beaten Oregon, Alabama, and Iowa State on their way to winning the Phil Knight Invitational.
Thank you, Mason. Coming up next on the Poke Report, the U.S. has advanced out of the group stage in the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. And there is a new sport coming to the States that you might see very soon. All that and more coming up next on the Poke Report.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars, like fresh packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza. Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges, inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie Ford Lincoln.
At ASAP Energy, our goal is to provide the best customer service for whatever our clients need.
My relationship with ASAP Energy came about in 2007. I was wanting to build a convenience store. I didn't know how to do it. I'd never been in the business. I just felt comfortable with Rick. And so I knew that I wanted to do business with a guy like that. Integrity, loyalty, and family. I would recommend that to anybody. Thanks for taking a chance on me.
At ASAP Energy, everything matters.
Where were you born? It's a question asked all the time. Because where you're from shapes who you are, inspires how you do things. And when that inspiration comes from a place this refreshing, this majestic, this... well, you get the idea. Coors Light, born in the Rockies.
Welcome back to the Poke Report. While a lot of teams in the Big 12 are preparing for bowl games like ourselves, there are a couple teams preparing for this Saturday's Big 12 championship game. So let's bring in Jace Andrews, the Big 12 expert, to give us a state of the conference. Hey, Jace.
Thank you, Alex and Asa. It's been a crazy couple of weeks in the Big 12. Kansas State and TCU, though, they'll be playing in the Big 12 championship tomorrow. But how did they get there? Well, as a reminder, TCU clinched their spot after defeating the Longhorns 3 weeks ago. They finished the regular season an impressive 12-0 and are just one win away from a spot in the college football playoff. Now, the Wildcats had a trickier path, needing to win out, and they did exactly that. Flashback 2 weeks ago to Kansas State taking on West Virginia in Morgantown. This was a high-scoring game to the start, with 3 rushing touchdowns by the Wildcats to give them a 28-13 lead in just the first quarter. K-State added another touchdown and a couple of field goals to go into half up 41-25. Not much scoring in the second half, as just 1 touchdown for both the Mountaineers, and the Wildcats finalized the 48-31 victory and accomplished step 1 for the Wildcats. Now, let's go to last weekend, where K-State was taking on their in-state rival, the Kansas Jayhawks. We go to the middle of the first, tied at 7, when Will Howard escapes the rush and slings the ball 42 yards downfield to a wide-open Sammy Wheeler to give K-State the 14-7 lead. It was all Wildcats from here, as in the second quarter, Howard finds Phillip Brooks, this time from 14 yards out, to make it 30-14. In the second half, the Wildcats held the Jayhawks to just 1 touchdown and got the 47-27 victory in the Sunflower Showdown. Now let's take a look at the final Big 12 standings. And so, as we mentioned, we have a TCU atop the conference with Kansas State right behind them. Next up is Texas, as they finished with a 6-3 record in conference play. Texas Tech is right behind the Longhorns at 5-4. OSU and Baylor finished tied with a 4-5 record. And then OU, Kansas, and West Virginia all finished 3-6. And finally, Iowa State with just 1 win in conference play. Now, as a reminder, the selection show for the college football playoff is this Sunday, so be sure to watch out for that. Not only to see if TCU will make it into the playoffs for the first time in program history, but also keep watching, as the bowl games will be announced around 2 o'clock Central Time. Make sure to listen to the OSU Preview Podcast with Alex, Asa, and myself this Monday at 3 o'clock, as we will go through all these bowl games and break them down for you. Well, that does it for me back here in the studio. Alex, Asa, it's been an absolute pleasure being the Big 12 analyst for you this season. One last time, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. You always do a great job providing some insight. Well, folks, it is a big day today here on the Poke Report. We have an official crown for the winner of Big 12 predictions, or as we also like to call them, the Big 12 pick'ems. And you would think with this crown and the honor that it would be me winning, but it is Ms. Dusky's turn.
Woohoo!
She won fair and square. Congratulations. Here is your tiara.
Thank you. And, you know, Jace mentioned our OSU Preview podcast, and I believe we might have a different winner in the pick'ems for that podcast. So Asa might be wearing this crown again later on in the week.
We'll post about it on Twitter. You can keep up with it.
But I do appreciate this crown. Thank you to everyone who supported me in my pick'em journey.
Congratulations. So now we're going to go back to the hardwood. Tony, take it away.
Thanks, guys. The Cowboys and the Cowgirls are set to return to Gallagher-Iba Arena this Tuesday for a doubleheader. The women will take on Loyola Marymount University at 11 a.m., and the men will take on Sam Houston at 8 o'clock p.m. Be sure to check it out, and we'll see you in GIA. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tony, for the update on Cowboy and Cowgirl basketball.
The World Cup has been at the center stage for all sports fans this past couple of weeks. Carson Melton has the latest.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup kicked off just 11 days ago in Qatar. The United States qualified for the World Cup after missing out in 2018. The last time the U.S. were eliminated from the group stage was 2006, when they finished with just 1 point at the bottom of the group. This year, there were expectations for such a young team, the second youngest squad behind Ghana. Wales, England, and Iran awaited in Group B for America. National team coach Greg Berhalter says that he believes his team can compete with every squad in the world.
What I do believe is on our best day, we can beat anyone in the world. And, and that's the mentality that we want to have as a group. Does that mean we're going to win the World Cup? No, not necessarily. But we think that the first step is getting out of the group, finishing in the top 2, And the second step is in knockout games playing our best possible game and seeing how far we can go.
The U.S. opened against Wales, hoping to get off on the right foot. Tim Weah opened the scoring for the Americans in the first half, but the Welsh were able to equalize with a Gareth Bale penalty kick. A 1-1 draw was followed by a 0-0 draw against the group favorites England, setting up a decisive final match against Iran. The U.S. had to defeat Iran to advance to the knockout round and extend their streak of knockout round appearances. Christian Pulisic was able to score in the 38th minute, putting his entire body on the line. The U.S. was able to fend off the Iranians until the final whistle, winning 1-0 and advancing to the knockout round. U.S. midfielder Weston McKennie says that they wanted to be in control of their own destiny against Iran.
We wanted to control our own destiny because we knew we could handle it. And I mean, you guys can see we're I don't want to say a bad word, but we're a really close group of guys. You know, we're brothers. We love this type of stuff. We love the pressure. We love the excitement because, you know, we're a young team. We have our own swagger. We have our own style. We have our own way that we play, the way that we connect with each other. And you see, we did it today. At the end, it was a bit, you know, a heart drop, sinking moment. But we got it done.
The U.S. finished in second place in the group behind England after they defeated Wales. England will play Senegal on one side of the bracket, while the U.S. plays Group A winner, the Netherlands. If the U.S. can win, they will face off against either Australia or Argentina. Kickoff for the U.S. versus the Netherlands is set for 9 a.m. on Fox. For the Polk Report, I'm Karsten Melton.
Thank you, Carson. The U.S. has advanced out of the group stage for the first time since 2014.
Are you familiar with the new sport that is starting to sweep the nation? If you don't, Ian Fain's going to tell you all about it.
Oklahoma State cheerleading is one of the most decorated programs in all of collegiate sports. Acquiring national championships and cruising through Big 12 competition, the Cowgirl Spirit Squad is one of the best in the nation. But in recent years, Oklahoma State has been making more of a name of itself in the stunt the sport community. Now, what is stunt, you may ask? Stunt is a team sport derived from cheerleading that features a four-quarter style of competition. Stunt removes the traditional element of involving crowd and focuses on the athletic aspects of cheerleading. Founded by USA Cheer in 2011, stunt has become one of the highest growing female sports in collegiate and amateur athletics. The upcoming sport is currently undergoing an NCAA Emerging Sports Initiative, giving universities an opportunity to add another female sport to their athletic programs, while also meeting the Title IX requirements. Stunt is an all-women sport consisting of individual players on a team, each giving a jersey number and can acquire personal stats. Stunt is similar to competition cheer in the athletic standpoint, but stunt is in a game/match format.
In cheerleading, you go out, you do your routine in front of a panel of judges, you leave, you exit the floor, and then other teams come out and do their routines. Whereas stunt is you have a team on one side of the mat and the other side of the mat, and you're going head to head in real time. And you have a referee, which I guess is the judge, and the referee who stands in the middle mat points to allot the point to whatever team won for that round.
Okay.
And that's how the point system is made.
With the point system, stunt has taken cheerleading and made it a little more intriguing for the common eye. The University of Kentucky is one of the first and few full Division I schools competing in the NCAA regulated bracket for stunt. Many universities have yet to officially add stunt to their university's athletic programs, but have begun competing in the club division, like Oklahoma State. The Pokes are the #1 ranked stunt club in the nation as they defeated Cal Poly in the national championship this past April, making it 6 straight stunt national championships for Oklahoma State. Now, if you haven't heard of the sport stunt, don't be surprised if your local university or high school adds it to their athletic programs.
Thanks, Ian. Coming up here on the Polk Report, when we come back from the break, we are going to discuss our football awards on the show. Alex and myself, you don't want to miss it, folks. You really don't. We'll be right back.
The Deli Department at Homeland is Oklahoma's headquarters for party trays. Enjoy the time with family and friends at your next event, and let your neighborhood Homeland create the perfect fruit, deli, or cheese tray for you. The party planners at Homeland will help you choose the perfect party food, sized just right for your guests. Call us, stop in, or order online, and we'll make it ready for pickup on your schedule. Make your next party special with a party tray from your neighborhood Homeland.
Good to be home, Homeland.
Love these things.
hilarious.
Sorry, force of habit.
As long as you are you, it's Miller time.
Hi, it's Sam at Louis Grill and Bar, here to introduce our new menu items from south of the border. Come try our new poblano chicken tacos, or the ever-popular sriracha shrimp tacos. At Louis, where you come for the food, but stay for the fun.
It's hard to imagine my life before her, or a day without her. So much of what I take for granted simply wouldn't exist. She is the force that holds our life together. She is my everything, the center of my universe, from Forevermark. The diamond, the promise. Available at Lewis Jewelers.
I'm Randy Heights with 1077 The Franchise, and let me tell you about the HCG diet from New Leaf Wellness and what it's meant to me. Over the last year, I've dropped 90 pounds, and this has been a lifesaver, guys. I'm in a wheelchair, so I can't always get to the gym, and what's been incredible about this diet, when I can't work out, I still lose the weight. 90 pounds in a year is a lot for anyone, but for me, it's been a miracle. Why don't you give New Leaf Wellness Centers a call and see if they can't help you with a free consultation, or go online at newleafcenters.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of the final episode of the Poke Report this season. Now, if you were with us a couple of weeks ago in Manhattan, we gave out mid-season awards to Cowboy football players and coaches.
I don't remember this.
You weren't here. Jace gave them out with me. Sorry. But you'll be here for now, giving out the final regular season awards now.
Starting on the scoring side of the ball with the Offensive Player of the Year, junior receiver Brennan Presley. Presley proved to be OSU's primary target the more the year went on, with 739 receiving yards, averaging just over 5 receptions per game and over 60 yards in all 12 outings. While Presley only scored 2 touchdowns on the year, he proved to be a consistent weapon for OSU's sometimes struggling offense, with around 12 yards per catch. The junior receiver also led the Cowboys in all-purpose yards with just over 1,100 total yards.
Now onto the defensive side of the ball, where Jason Taylor II finishes the year as OSU's best defensive player. Taylor was awarded the midseason Defensive Player of the Year, and he only got better from the middle of the season. The senior safety wrapped up the year with 87 total tackles. 72 of them were solo tackles that led the Pokes. He finished the year with 6 interceptions, including 3 in the final 3 games. He ranks in the top 10 in program history for interceptions in a season, and the most since Justin Gilbert in 2013. It is worth noting that Taylor was a semifinalist for the Paycom Jim Thorpe Awards.
Let's highlight a newcomer to the team whose impact has lasted throughout the season, and Cowboy fans are happy to have for the long run. Running back, Ollie Gordon. Gordon was also a mid-season award winner. He wrapped up his true freshman regular season campaign with a monster game against West Virginia, in which he ran for 136 yards and scored the 3rd touchdown of his career. Gordon had the best rushing performance all year for the Cowboys and was the 2nd player to accumulate 100-plus yards on the ground in one game this year. He finished the year with 263 total yards on the ground, the 3rd most among Cowboys, and added 75 yards on receptions. Keep an eye on Gordon to build on the momentum from the last game into this year's bowl game.
Moving gears to a player who showed great improvement this year, wide receiver John Paul Richardson. Richardson wrapped up his sophomore season with 482 yards and 4 touchdowns, including a 83-yard bomb against Iowa State. That touchdown was the longest play for the Cowboys all season and the longest reception since 2019. Richardson improved from his freshman year in all aspects: more yards, more receptions, and more touchdowns. With the possible departure of Braden Johnson, Richardson is likely to take on a larger role with the team next year.
All right, let's change gears and evaluate the performance of the special teams and coaches. Starting with special teams earning an A. OSU has had a premier special teams unit in all categories, led by kicker Tanner Brown. Brown was a semifinalist for the Lou Groza Award for the best kicker in the NCAA, knocking down 21 of 22 kicks with a career-long 52-yarder against TCU. He also led the Cowboys in points for the year, totaling 103. Long snapper Matt Hembrough was also named a finalist for the Patrick Manelli Award for the best long snapper after being nearly perfect all season. While the special teams as a whole started strong, the production wasn't as apparent the second half of the season. That said, special teams stepped up when they needed to, earning the A grade.
Moving on to offensive coordinator Casey Dunn, who earns a C. The offense flourished in the first half of the season, averaging just under 45 points per game through 7 games, which led Dunn to receiving an A- grade midway through. In the last 5 games, OSU scored just 13.6 points per game, and the Cowboys eclipsed 20 points only once. Injuries played a part in the struggling offense. As usual, starter Spencer Sanders spent the latter part of the year nursing a plethora of injuries, forcing true freshman Garrett Rangel to make his first 2 career starts in the last 5 games. The 48-0 loss to Kansas State is the primary reason for Dunn's lower grade, but also the overall decline in offense played a part. Dunn won't be graded lower because OSU still ranked in the top 50 in terms of scoring offense and total offense in the country, scoring just under 32 points per game with over 400 total yards on average.
On to first-year defensive coordinator Derek Mason, who earns a C- after a C+ grade midway through the year. The defense never hit its stride this year under Mason's guidance, despite having key starters in Jason Taylor, Tyler Lacey, and Colin Oliver returning to the team. The Pokes had one of the worst red zone defenses all year, giving up a score in 90% of opponents' trips to the red zone. The Cowboys ranked near the bottom in total defense, allowing an average of 440 yards per game, with opponents scoring 44 touchdowns all year. The Cowboys did shine on third down, giving up a first down only 27% of the time, which was good enough for 4th best in college football.
Now for head coach Mike Gundy, who earns a B-, dropping from a B+. While it wasn't the year Cowboy fans were hoping for, OSU went 7-5 in the regular season, highlighted by a comeback victory over Texas for homecoming, and the Pokes clinched yet another bowl game appearance. This season fell short of an 8-4 season for the first time in 3 years after starting 6-1 through 7 weeks. The shutout loss to Kansas State kick-started the Pokes' late-season collapse. The Cowboys also dealt with injuries to quarterback Spencer Sanders, running back Dominic Richardson, most of the offensive line, and key defenders. While the Cowboys were one of the most disciplined teams in college football, only penalized 43 times in the year, the Cowboys did fail in areas such as turnover margin and time in possession, ranking low in both categories. At the end of the day, Gundy didn't make adjustments to keep the Cowboys in line for success, leading to a lower grade.
Now it's time to present the most valuable player for OSU this season. Drum roll, please. Spencer Sanders. Sanders proved his value to the team in the first half of the year when he was healthy. He proved it again in Week 11 against Iowa State after entering late in the third quarter and leading the Cowboys to the win. Sanders finished the year with over 2,500 passing yards with 17 touchdowns and a QB rating of 128. He also was the Cowboys' second leading rusher with 391 yards and 8 touchdowns. Sanders was in the top 15 in individual total offense for the season, despite only playing in 10 games, with an average of over 300 total yards per outing.
That'll do it for the end of season awards. Congratulations to all players and coaches on yet another winning season.
Stay glued to your TV screens this December. It's most likely the Cowboys will either be playing in a bowl game sometime around December. Well, this is our last episode, Alex, of the semester for the Poke Report. We will miss y'all very much.
Thank you for joining us throughout the last couple of months, and from ourselves, the whole crew, Jace and Tony, I'm Alex Esky.
And I'm Asa Lucas.
Have a great day, and
Go Pokes!